So it's just about 9:30. Find a comfortable seat. You can do it on the floor. Make sure you get a chair. We might need a chair today, so get a chair from your kitchen if you need a chair. I'm going to use the chair to sit down. It's okay if he's there. Mateo might run in and out, right? We're doing this from home. We live in different times. This week is different than 2 weeks ago. And you're welcome to sit on the floor, but I know some people, it's quite uncomfortable. So I'm choosing a chair to give you permission to also sit in a chair if that's what is easiest for you. It is unimportant which way you sit. And of course, Mary showed different poses. You can sit cross-legged, you can sit on your heels, sit with your legs wide. Any of those are fine. Well, let's take a moment. Let me actually make sure everybody's muted. So take a moment and just begin to get yourself centered. Rest your hands comfortably. You can close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. Rest your eyes into your cheekbones. Bring your awareness to your sit bones and see that you're balanced evenly on those two sit bones. If you're sitting on a chair, although even however you're sitting, see that there's an even pressure on the feet as well. The sit bones, the feet. Find a lengthening from the inner thigh to the inner knee. And find a lengthening from the upper inner thigh back towards the lower abdomen. So that whole inner groin is lengthening. Descend the flesh of the inner thighs. So from the front of the leg to the back of the leg. So in this case, down. We descend the flesh of the inner thighs. You may notice the abdomen draws in slightly. And even here, no matter how you're sitting, there's a drawing from the outer knees to the outer hips as you compact your hips together. When you compact your hips together, it creates a stable floor for your torso to rest on. But really, it then ends up lifting the torso. So your torso doesn't just sink in, but as you compact the hips, the torso can lift and rise up. The more compaction, the more rising. See that as you lift the torso, the shoulders don't follow, but the shoulders actually descend down. Release the top of the buttocks towards the floor. Bring your front bottom ribs towards the back body. The navel follows the ribs, so the navel also draws towards the spine. Again, shoulders releasing. Move the shoulders away from the sides of the neck. Lift the ears up and away from your hips. So the side ribs, the neck becomes long. Notice how each of these actions causes the breath to change. Now begin to take the palms together with your thumbs at your chest. Use the thumbs to move the flesh of your chest upward without pushing your ribs forward. So the ribs still draw back, but the chest rises. So it's a different action. It's a different experience than just throwing the ribs forward and lifting the chest. But actually taking the ribs in to lift the chest. See that your palms touch evenly, left to right, right to left. Soften the facial features. Take in the experience of your body now. Take in the experience of any emotions. Maybe still an uneasiness. The laws of where we can go, what we can do, change on a daily basis. They're different today than they were yesterday. Maybe a sense of relief and joy that we're here together with this yoga practice. maybe something else, maybe all of it. You can experience unease and joy at the same time. Invite it all in without trying to get rid of it. Don't seek to use this practice to get rid of anything. Seek this practice to study what is here. Svadhyaya, self-study. As we move our body today, we're going to study. We'll chant the syllable Om. As you do so, experience the vibration in your body. It's not just a sound, but there's a vibration that fills the body. And if you pay attention to that vibration, you have a different relationship with the syllable of Om. So exhale completely, deep inhalation. Om. The experience of your body is different now after the Oms than before. And it may be quite subtle. Maybe you don't notice it, and that's okay too. Or maybe you can notice the subtle changes that have taken place and welcome them in. Lift your sternum towards the ceiling. Lower your chin towards your heart. Release your hands onto your thighs with your palms up. With your eyes closed, raise your head. Gently allow your eyes to open. And again, you don't need to move right away. Take in this moment, take in this new experience. It's different than it was before you close your eyes. The experience of your body, your emotions is different now. Observe the breath as it breathes you. And then come to standing. You can move whatever props you have, the chair. If you decided to sit on blankets, move them to the side. Let's come to the center of the mat. Take your feet together. We'll get it into Tadasana. If it's more comfortable for you to be here, feet hip distance apart. Remember, hip distance apart is underneath hip sockets, not underneath the outer hip bones. That's fine. Hip distance apart is fine. Start at the base. Are you balanced evenly on your feet? Can you find the even balance of your feet? Balancing can become even more difficult when the head is swirling around in these precarious times. So seek it. You may not achieve it. We don't really achieve it. We get close and then we fall onto one foot and we're trying to even out and we fall onto the other foot. But seek that evenness. Press the thighs back. If you hear music emanating from the other room, that is Mateo playing either his keyboard or his harmonica, or he might pick something else up. And the sounds might float into here. So press the thigh bones back. Those of you, I can't see all of you, but you know who you are. If you're pressing your knees back, your shins going back, press the shin bones forward as you press the thighs back. Lengthen from the inner knee up through the lower abdomen. Lengthen the whole inner groin. Take the flesh of the inner thighs back and lift the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact the hips together. Move the shoulder bones away from your ears, extend through the arms, but make sure that the side ribs stay lifted. The front bottom ribs moving towards the back body, top of the buttocks down. What is off here? What side is shorter that you need to lengthen? Which leg is working harder? Which arm is working harder? Can you begin to sense an evenness? And then seek an evenness also on the two sides of the skull. Are they resting evenly on the neck? And notice the breath as the breath breathes you. Remember, you do not need to breathe. The breath will breathe you. All you need to do is not stop the breath from breathing you. Coming into the standing poses, take your fingertips up by your chest. Bend your legs. Jump or step your feet apart. It's always fine to step your feet apart. Drop your shoulders. Hold your arms up from your armpits, not your shoulders. Balance evenly on the 2 feet. Thigh bones still pressing back. Again, be careful for your knees. Thigh bones pressing back, straight legs. Lengthening from the inner knee up through the lower abdomen. The flesh of the inner thighs moving back. Drawing the outer knees to the outer hips, compacting those hips so your torso is not falling down towards the earth, but it's actually lifting up and away from it. But it's that action of the outer knee to the outer hip and compacting to the hips that allows that to happen. And as the torso rises, drop the shoulders, holding the arms up from the armpits. From the midline, from the center of the sternum, from between the shoulder blades, extend outward. So instead of pulling with your hands today, can you push out from the midline? Create more space in the torso itself. Turn your left foot in, turn your right leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. I'm going to start off in Virabhadrasana 2 today, Warrior Pose 2. When my head is floating around, these are the poses I start off with. It creates a stability. Press into the back heel. Turn the front thigh from the inside out so your knee is in line with the top of the foot. Again, lifting the outer knees to the outer hips. Keep that compaction of the hips. Then reach with your back arm. Press your back heel and bend your front leg. Keep your spine perpendicular to the floor. Keep pressing the back heel. The knee, the bent leg is over the ankle, the thigh parallel to the floor. Keep the chest lifted. Gaze over your front fingertips. But imagine you have eyes in the back of your head. Look through those eyes. So don't try and stare forward, but can you find a gaze looking back? And then reach through your back arm, straighten your front leg, parallel your feet. Again, are you holding your arms up from your armpits or your shoulders? Hold them up from your armpits. Turn your right foot in, turn your left leg out. Take your front heel in line with your back arch. It doesn't hurt to look down and double check what your feet are doing. Pressing the back heel. Turn this front thigh from the inside out and lift both outer knees to outer hips. Compact those hips together. Really squeeze them together. Changes the pose. Keep pressing the back heel. Reach with your back arm. So don't just fall forward, but resist with your back arm. Press the back heel as you bend the front leg, sitting into it. Knee over the ankle, thigh parallel to the floor. Gaze over your front fingertips. Drop the shoulders. Look through the eyes in the back of your head. And then reach with your back arm, straighten your front leg, parallel your feet, and jump or step your feet together. Tadasana. Balance evenly on the feet, thighs back. Lengthening through the inner thighs. Lifting the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact the hips together. So emotions get stuck in the hips. Emotions get stuck in the shoulders. To be clear, they get stuck throughout the body, but those are the biggest joints. So they take the biggest brunt of everything. So as we do the standing poses, we're going to seek to ensure that the hips get open. We're going to seek to ensure that the shoulders stay open. One more time, fingertips up, bend your legs, jumper step. Take your hands on your hips. Turn your left foot in, turn your right leg out. So there's a tendency here to close. The front thigh turns in and the back thigh falls in. So you need to take the back thigh back. We need to turn the front thigh out so that there's an opening in this whole pelvic area. The tailbone from behind does move slightly forward, but as the tailbone moves forward, don't just throw the hips forward. So that thigh has to still go back. The front thigh turns out as the tailbone goes forward. So it's as if they're trying to meet in the middle. Keep your hands on your hips for now. Now keep pressing into that back heel. Keep the spine perpendicular to the floor. Inhale. On your exhalation, bend that front leg. Keep the spine perpendicular to the floor. Don't fall over that front leg. So here again, we need to create this opening in the whole pelvic area. So take that left thigh back. Take that right knee back. And that right buttock, the outer buttock, has to drop down and forward. The tailbone follows, that goes forward too. So again, there's this opening here. And if you just want to stay here and work the legs, that's fine. Keep the shoulders down, elbows bent. This is a fine way to practice the pose. If you want to add the arms, that's fine, but don't lose the legs to add the arms. Take your elbows back, watch those ribs. See, as soon as I do that, my ribs puff forward. So I take the elbows back, draw the ribs back in, and then extend the arms. Drop the shoulders, hold the arms up with your armpits, and gaze over your front fingertips. Reach with your back arm, straighten your leg, parallel your feet, hands on your hips. Take a breath here. We're not stretching, but we are opening. We're opening the body. There's a tendency in this isolation to close ourselves off. So we're seeking to open the body. Turn your right foot in, turn your left leg out, so that we don't close ourselves off from ourselves or the world. Take the left thigh back. Right thigh back. The back thigh back. Turn the front thigh out. Lift your outer knees to outer hips. The tailbone moves forward. So even just here, you begin to get that opening. Back thigh back, front thigh turned out, tailbone in. Still lifting the outer knees to outer hips and still lengthening those inner groins. Keep your hands on your hips, press the back heel, inhale. Exhale, bend the front leg. Keep your spine perpendicular to the floor. The bent leg, the thigh is parallel to the floor, knee over your ankle, thigh parallel to the floor. So again, go after the legs. Take that right thigh back, the back thigh. Take the front knee back. That buttock, the back buttock has to go down and forward. So again, you get that nice opening here. Tailbone in. And you can just stay here. Elbows back, keep the chest lifted. If you'd like to add the arms, add them, but don't lose the legs to add the arms. Many of you are going to notice as soon as you extend the arms, the buttock goes back. The knee and thigh go forward. So keep the legs, gaze over your front fingertips. Then reach with your back arm, straighten your leg, parallel your feet, jump or step your feet together. Tadasana. Check in with yourself. It's a simple pose. It's a quite powerful pose. Extend your arms forward, Urdhva Hastasana, arms up. Drop the shoulders down. Watch the ribs. Did your ribs go forward? Or were they just mine? Draw the ribs in. Top of the buttocks down. And as you extend the arms up, take the shoulders down. Turn your hands out to the side, come down. Knock your chandelier if it's above you. That's pretty cool. Chandelier just waving back and forth. Interlace your fingers together, turn your palms out. Push the waving of your fingers together, inhale, come up. Watch those ribs, ribs in, thighs back, wrists up. Taking your palms forward, turn them to face you, change the interlock. Just touch the tips of the thumbs together, turn the palms out. Push the webbing of the fingers together. Take the shoulders down as the wrists go up. Ribs in, thighs back. So we start at the base, balance evenly on the feet, thigh bones back. Lengthen the inner groins, outer knees to outer hips. Compact those hips together. That will help lift the torso. Extend the wrists up as the shoulders move down. And release your arms out to the side. Tadasana. Downward facing dog. You can come onto your hands and knees, or if you're doing downward facing dog on a chair, take your hands on the chair, totally fine. Otherwise, hands on the floor, knees on the floor. Press through the ball of the first finger and thumb. Rotate the upper arms out. Turn your toes under, straighten your legs. Inhale. On your exhalation, come into downward facing dog. So the thighs go back, chest towards your thighs. But you have to do all that work again. You have to lift from the outer knees to the outer hips and compact the hips together. You need to lengthen from the inner knees all the way up through towards the lower abdomen, that whole inner groin lengthening. You have to take the flesh of the upper inner thighs straight back. And there's a lengthening from the tip of that first finger all the way up to those sit bones up, sit bones back. And as you extend your outer heels down, lift your outer hips up. Same on the chair or on the floor or on your coffee table. And look up, walk your hands forward. Take your hands on your hips, extend your chest forward, and come back into Tadasana. Now we're going to do Chitta Parto Konasana, extended side angle pose. I'll just show you for a second so you can decide what you want to do. When you come over, the traditional pose, hands on the floor, but that's hard to get to, and a lot of people collapse the chest like that. We don't want to do that. We want an open chest. So you can take your hand on your thigh if you don't have any props. You can take a block like we do in the studio sometimes. You can take a chair. This is also a nice way to do it. So take your prop, whatever it's going to be today, your thigh if you don't have a prop. If you're flexible, if you have the flexibility, you can go to the floor if you keep an open chest, or get yourself a block or a chair. I'm going to use the chair because that's what I have nearby right now. Start with your feet together. Tadasana. And fingertips up, bend your legs. If there's a chair in the way, just step your feet apart. But otherwise, you can jump or step your feet apart. You don't want to hit your props as you're jumping apart. That's the only thing. Drop the shoulders. So again, here we are. Thighs back, outer knees to outer hips, lengthening those inner thighs with the flesh of the inner thighs moving back. Drop the shoulders and hold the arms up with your armpits. Turn your left foot in, turn your right leg out. Ensure that your front heel is in line with your back arch. Same actions of the legs. Take that left thigh back. Turn the front thigh out, tailbone in. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips. We start as we did in Virabhadrasana 2. So reach with the back arm, bend the front leg. And then on your next exhalation, take your hand onto your lift or the floor. The floor, your prop, your thigh, that's fine too. Turn the top arm so your palm faces your ear. Rotate the torso up as you extend the arm over your ear. Keep pressing the back heel as you reach through those fingertips. And then reach to the fingertips and pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Take whatever props you have to the other side. Come back to center. Again, not just coming to center with your feet wide and your arms wide, but taking the actions, thighs back. Outer knees to outer hips, lengthen the inner knees to the inner groins, compacting those hips together. Holding your arms up from your armpits. Then take your right foot in, turn your left leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. Take that back thigh back. Turn the front thigh from the inside out. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips, tailbone in. Then reaching with the back arm, press the back heel, bend your front leg. Reaching with the back arm, exhale, take your hand on your block, the chair, your thigh. Then rotate the arm and extend your arm over your head. Pressing the back heel, you rotate the torso towards the ceiling. The higher up you are, the easier it is to rotate, right? So if you can see me as I go down, I have to work really hard to get that rotation. But here with the chair, I can actually really get that open heart. So don't be afraid to use a lift. When reaching through the arm, pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Jump or step your feet together. Or again, hip distance apart is fine. Tadasana. Check in with yourself. How is your body, your mind, your breath experience different now than when you first started? Than before you did the pose? How is the breath breathing you? All right, I'll do it without the chair this time, just for those you can follow along. You can see how it's done differently. Fingertips up, bend your legs, jump or step. You can use whatever prop you want. You don't have to follow me. It's it's a lot different teaching this way than in the class where I can see and I can tell different people. You use the block, you use a higher block, you use the chair. So you have to be your own teacher throughout this. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips, drop the shoulders. Left foot in, right leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. And again, those actions, left thigh goes back, right thigh turns out, tailbone in, outer knees to outer hips. Reach with the back arm, inhale, exhale, bend the leg. Reaching with the back arm, inhale, exhale, take your hand wherever you want, on the floor, on the chair, on your thigh, that's fine. Take the top hand on your hip. Now you need to do the work of the legs again, so take the back thigh back. Notice as you do that, the torso begins to turn. Do take the head back, don't tuck your chin. Take that buttock, just as we did in Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior Pose 2, take the front buttock of the bent leg forward as the knee goes back. That helps turn the torso too. So now my torso is turned, my head is looking slightly up. Now I can finish the pose. Extend the arm up, turn the arm, and extend over your ear and over your ear. Ensure that your torso is turning towards the ceiling as you extend the arm. The arm is in line with your ear, not way up front, but take it back, extending through that whole left side of the body. Then reach through your arm, pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Other side, right foot in, left leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. If you're using the chair or your block, move it to the other side. Press the back heel, turn the front thigh. Lift your outer knees to outer hips. You have to get that. That lifts the torso. It helps to lengthen the side ribs. If the torso is sinking, the side ribs shorten. So you need to compact those hips to lift the torso and then find that lengthening. Reach through the back arm. Exhale, bend the leg. Reach through the back arm more. Exhale, take your hand on whatever your surface is, the floor, the block, the chair, your thigh. Take your hand on your hip. This side's different. How is it different? What's different? Take that back thigh back. Notice how that helps the torso turn. Take the front buttock forward. Notice how that helps the torso turn. Keep that front knee over the ankle. If you can't, take a higher lift. Come on that chair. The head goes back. And then maintaining the legs, extend the arm up, rotate it, and come over your ear. Extend through that whole left side of the body. Excuse me, right side of the body. Torso turns up. And then reach through your arm, pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Jump or step your feet together. Tadasana. Urdhva arms forward, arms up. We're doing the arm work between every pose. So you have to get those shoulders moving. Turn your hands out to the sides, come down. Interlace your fingers together, right first finger on top, turn the palms out. Touch the thumbs, push the webbing of the fingers together, inhale, come up. And actually, last time, the old way we did the fingers pushing together. This time, pull the fingers apart, but have the knuckles grip. Pull them apart, ribs still in. Extend the wrists up, shoulders down. Notice how it's a different experience of the arms. There's not a right and wrong here, it's different. Taking your arms down in front of you, switching the interlock, turning the palms out. Again, touch the thumbs, pull the fingers apart, but grip the knuckles so they don't come apart. Inhale, come up. Hug your upper arms into your ears, ribs in, front ribs moving towards the back body, arms back, extend your wrists up, shoulders down. Release your arms out to the sides, come down. Tadasana. Fingertips up, bend your legs, jump or step. Yes, we're doing the standing poses today. Take your hands on your hips for a moment. Standing poses create stability, connection with the Mother Earth. So we're going for stable today. Balance evenly on the feet, thighs back, outer knees to outer hips. Lengthen the inner knees to the inner groins. We're going into Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior Pose 1. Turn your left foot in, turn your right leg out. But now you need to turn yourself towards that side wall. So pick up your back heel, take your left hip forward, and then take your back heel down, but keep those hips squared. So as you take the heel down, don't fall back again. So you want the hips to be squared. You want the ribs to be squared. Elbows back. There's a lifting on the back leg. There's a lifting from the front of the back thigh right up into the chest. From there, the thigh goes back, right? Don't just press the knee back, but the thigh goes back. And then press that back heel down. Front thigh, knee in line with the foot, both outer knees to outer hips. Elbows back. Keep the chest lifted. Inhale. On your exhalation, bend the front leg. But notice as soon as I do this, this hip comes back. So I have to work this hip forward as I bend the front leg. I have to work the ribs forward, and the kidney bend forward as you bend the front leg. Draw your abdomen in, draw your abdomen up. That front of the back thigh still coming up into your chest. And then extend your arms forward, arms up. And you can either look forward, or if you have the flexibility in the side ribs, you can look up. Don't puff the front ribs forward. They draw into the body, the front ribs, so that the chest itself rises. Sit into it. Then take your arms out to the sides, hands on hips. Straighten the front leg. Parallel your feet. Take a breath here. Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior Pose 1. It's a very strong pose. Remember, the warrior is here to conquer the monkey mind inside. It's not to conquer anything outside of you, but it's to begin to take control of the monkey mind. Turn your right foot in, turn your left leg out. Pick up your back heel. As you take the hip down, swing that hip forward. Swing the hip forward. So as you take the heel down, now the hips are squared and the ribs are squared. And you want to keep that to the best you can. So the back thigh turns in. There's a lifting, excuse me, a lifting of the flesh of the front of the back thigh right up into your chest. Front thigh turns out, knee in line with the side of with the top of your foot. Compact those hips together. Tailbone in. Chest lifting. Inhale, press the back heel. Keep that action as you bend the front leg. You might have to change your stance. Knee over the ankle, thigh parallel to the floor. Notice how that hip goes back. So that to keep thinking that hip forward. Take the flesh of the back thigh right up into your chest. That helps you even press the back heel down. Draw your abdomen into the body. Those ribs go in so that the chest can lift. And arms forward, arms up, either looking straight forward, or if you have the flexibility in your side ribs, you can look up, but don't just take it in your neck. It's fine to look forward. Sit into it. Keep that right hip, right ribs moving forward. Allow the breath to breathe you. And reach through the arms, come up. Parallel your feet. Take your arms out to the side. Jump or step your feet together. Tadasana. This pose it's a powerful pose. It's hard to stay in it for a longer period of time for many of us. So I'm going to suggest you take your chair. You don't have to, you can practice it exactly the same way if you want. Everyone turn to face the side with or without a chair. If you're not using a chair, just take your right foot forward, left leg back. But if you're using a chair, take your right foot on the chair and hop your left foot back. Keep those hips squared. You still want the knee over the ankle. This is going to allow you to be in the pose for a little bit longer and to actually play with the actions in the pose. If you don't have the chair, although hopefully you can use a kitchen chair. This is a kitchen chair. This isn't, the chair with the back taken out of it and the whole thing. I have that over there, but I intentionally want to show you that you can use any chair for this. You can also use a block or a dictionary. If you don't have a block, use a dictionary. Use 2 dictionaries, if anybody still has those. So now the same actions. So that back thigh turns in and take the front of the back thigh, the flesh of the front of the back thigh right up into your chest, tailbone in. Outer knees to outer hips. Can you compact those hips together and feel the torso lift as you do that? And then lengthen. The groins I get that they're doing different things. They're in opposite directions. But can you lengthen from the knee to the lower abdomen on both legs and take the flesh of the inner thighs from the front of the leg to the back of the leg? So we can stay here for a moment, study, play with this. Now, keep those hips compacted. Keep the front flesh of the front of the back thigh coming up into your chest. Take those ribs in. Take the abdomen in and up. And then extend your arms forward, arms up. Again, you can look forward, you can look up. You can hit the chandelier if it's there. Shoulders down as the arms go up, but these ribs, so the ribs have to come in, that the chest lifts up, the shoulder blades do go in. When I'm silent, that means study. Go inward. Don't wait for me. Be there. And take your hands on your hips. Take your torso, back shoulders over the hips, and release your leg, coming into Tadasana, still facing the chair. And then the other side. Take your left leg up. The right foot turns out slightly, not too much. Square those hips, knee over the ankle, and get all the actions here. Turn the back thigh in. The flesh of the front of the back thigh coming right up into your chest. So that front of the hip is really opening and extending. Draw the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact those hips together. Lengthen from the inner knees to the lower abdomen. Take the flesh of the inner thighs from the front of the leg to the back of the leg. It's a lot for the body to remember, but can you keep going through it? Outer knees to outer hips, lengthen the groins, descend the groins. Outer knees to outer hips, lengthen the groins, descend the groins. Just keep that going. Now keep lifting the flesh of the front of the back leg up into your chest. Draw your abdomen in and up. And extend your arms forward, arms up. Don't let the bent leg buttock come up when you take the arms up. That actually sinks down as the arms go up. Head can look forward or arms up. Study. Svadhyaya. How is the breath breathing you? What's your experience? Physical, emotional. Take your hands on your hips, straighten your leg, feet together. Tadasana. Then if you have the chair, take your hands on the chair, walk your feet back, downward facing dog. If you don't have the chair, take it on the floor, downward facing dog. Instructions are all going to be the same. Thighs back. Lengthen from the inner knees to the lower abdomen. The flesh of the inner thighs moving back. Outer knees to outer hips. You've all heard this before. Lengthen through the side ribs, the armpits, the arms. Look up, walk forward. Come up to Tadasana. And now we'll do downward facing dog on the floor. If you want to still use a chair, it's fine. Use a chair. If you normally use a chair, use a chair. If you normally use blocks, use blocks. If you normally use the floor, then let's take that experience of the chair and bring that to the floor. Hands and knees. Press into the ball of the first finger and thumb. Rotate the upper arms out. Turn your toes under. Straighten your legs. Inhale. Push into the hands to lengthen. Exhale. Come into downward facing dog. So you want it to feel as close as possible to your experience of when you were in the chair, when your hands were on the chair. Excuse me. Gravity is not your friend right now. The chair, gravity didn't get too much in the way. Now you're fighting gravity, but you still want that same experience with your thighs pulling you back, with that extension through the arms, armpits, and side ribs. The lengthening of the inner thighs, and as you press the heels down, lifting the outer knees to the outer hips. How is this Ardha Mukha Svanasana? How is this downward facing dog different than your previous one? Different than on the chair and different than the previous one you did on the floor? And then look up, walk your feet forward, come back into Tadasana. Hands on hips as you come up. Extend the chest forward. No sloppy coming up. Remember, like Gabriel says, coming out of the pose is the pose. You always have to keep your awareness as you go in and out of the poses. So we'll take the chair again. And again, you can do this one on the floor if you don't have the chair. But right foot forward, left leg back, square the hips. We're doing Parsvatonasana, side forward bend, square the hips. Front thigh turns out, back thigh in. Compact the hips together. Take your hands down. But you want to be far enough away from the chair. So I have to get further back or move the chair back so that the arms and the side ribs are pretty much in the same line. Okay? And if you don't have the chair, then you do this with your hands on your hips. That's fine. You can take your hands on your hips, extend forward. That's fine. Or hands on the chair. You get a little bit more extension for many of us if you have your hands on the chair, but that just means you need to work a little bit harder to get that extension if your hands are on your hips. So front thigh up, back thigh in. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips. Lengthen from the inner knees to the inner groins, with the flesh of the inner groins going back. Walk your hands forward on the chair. Walk your hands forward. So we're creating this concave back. Keep compacting those hips together. This right hip tends to push out. So take this right hip closer to the midline so that your spine is moving straight forward. If your hands are on your hips, you're going to want to come up and then switch your feet. If your hands are on the chair, you can actually just keep your hands on the chair there and then switch your feet. Left foot forward, right leg back. But so now my left hip keeps knocking out to the side. So you take the left hip closer to the midline. Take the left hip back so the sides of the torso are equal in length. And then work those legs again. So it's front heel in line with your back arch. Turn the front thigh out so your knee's in line with the top of your foot. The back thigh turns in. Lift both outer knees to outer hips as you compact the hips together. Lengthen both of the groins of the inner legs from the knees to the lower abdomen. And take the flesh of the inner thighs back. Now keep the hips stable. Keep the hips moving back as you extend the arms forward if you're on the chair, or you just need to extend those side ribs forward if your hands are on your hips. And bend your front leg, step your back foot forward, take your feet together or hip distance apart, and come back into Tadasana. And then one more time. Hands on the chair, or you can do hands on hips, 1 foot forward, 1 leg back, that's fine. And then come forward, or hands on the chair. Turn the front thigh out, the back thigh in. And take that hip towards the midline. Compact the hips together. Outer knees to outer hips, compact the hips together. Lengthen the inner groins. Take the flesh of the inner thighs back. Then walk those hands forward. Now keep that length. When you're going to take your hands to the floor, keep that length. Keep the chest moving towards the big toe. Don't try and take your head to your knee, but keep the chest moving towards the big toe and just take your fingers on the floor. If that's not accessible, guess what? Your hands stay on the chair. Otherwise, take your fingertips to the floor. Notice how that right hip now wants to come back out to the side and forward. So take the right hip back towards the wall behind you. Take it towards the midline, and then walk your hands forward. Let your head go. Try and lengthen the front of the spine, lengthen the side ribs. Say something kind to your hamstring. Don't be mean to it here. Then take your hands back up on the chair, lengthen. Or on your hips. If your hands are on your hips, come back up and then switch legs. If your hands are on the chair, you can just switch your legs. Again, that left hip now goes out. So I'm taking it back towards the wall behind me and back towards the midline. So I can really lengthen those side ribs. But I have to work the legs. Outer knees to outer hips. Lengthen the inner thighs, the inner groins. The flesh of the inner groins moving back. And walk those hands forward. Get as much length on that spine as I can. But as soon as I walk the hands forward, I forget about that hip. So I have to keep taking that left hip back towards the wall behind me and towards the midline. And keeping that length, chest moving towards the big toe, fingertips down. Don't just try and round your back. Don't just take your head to your knee or shin, but take your chest towards the big toe, walk your hands forward. Again, if that's not accessible, you just stay on the chair. And then hands up on the chair, bend your front leg, walk your feet together. Hi, Mateo.
I was just putting on a t-shirt because I was hot.
You were hot? Yeah, I'm hot too. You gonna do some yoga with us?
I put on this t-shirt.
That's a beautiful t-shirt. Do you want to show everyone what it says? Here, turn around so they can see. It says love with a picture of the earth on it. Tadasana. Press the thighs back. What, sweetheart? Outer knees to outer hips. Lengthen those inner groins. Shoulders down, extend through the arms. All right, we have one last standing pose, right? So we did Virabhadrasana 2. These are the 5. There were lots of standing poses, but these are the main ones. Virabhadrasana 2, Virabhadrasana 1, or Virabhadrasana 2, Utthita Konasana, Virabhadrasana 1, Konasana, and then Utthita Trikonasana, triangle pose, which we often start with. So today, this will be the last of our standing poses. Oh wait, but we've got to do the arm work. Arm work first. From Tadasana, Urdhva Hastasana. Ribs in. Do you feel how the experience of the shoulders is different now than when we first started this? Urdhva Hastasana, Mateo. Can you bring your arms up? Take your arms out to the side, come down. What, sweetheart? What? I know, it's swinging like crazy. Watch this one. Turn your palm, interlock your fingers together. Turn your palms out. Watch those ribs, keep the ribs in. Your choice, whichever felt better. Push the webbing together or pull them apart, but do so mindfully. Know what you're doing. Inhale, come up. Wrist towards the ceiling, shoulders down. So now it's your choice. You've done them both. Push the webbing of the fingers together, extend the wrists up, or pull the fingers apart. Palms in front of you, turn to face you, switch the interlock, turn your palms out, push the webbing together, inhale, come up. Ribs in, arm up, wrists up, open armpits. And release your arms out to the sides, come down. You don't have to hide either, honey. Adith is here too.
Hi.
She's waving. Oh, they're waving at you, honey.
Hello.
All right. Last of the standing poses. Utthita Trikonasana. Fingertips up by your chest. Bend your legs. Jump or step your feet apart. Drop your shoulders down. So here we are again. Balance evenly on the feet. Lifting the outer knees to outer hips. Compact those hips so you get that stable base for the torso to rise up. Lengthen from the inner knees up through the lower abdomen. And take the flesh of the inner thighs back. Left foot in, right leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. Now, all the work we were doing before, that back thigh goes back. The front thigh turns out. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips, compact those hips together. Reach with your back arm, press the back heel, inhale, exhale, come down, Utthita Trikonasana. Take your hand on your shin. If you have the chair or the block, you're welcome to use that. Keep pressing the back heel. That back thigh turns back, moves back. Keep turning the front thigh from the inside out. Keep compacting those hips together. The torso rotates up. Eventually the head looks up. You can look forward. If you have freedom in the chest and neck, you can look up. Then pull with your top arm. Inhale, come up and out. Parallel your feet. Are you holding your arms up with your shoulders or your armpits? Hold them up with your armpits. Right foot in, left leg out. Double check, front heel in line with your back arch. Take that back thigh back. Turn the front thigh out. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips, still lengthening those groins. Press the back heel, resist with your back arm, inhale. Exhale, come down, Utthita Trikonasana. Left arm goes up, so go back to the legs. Back thigh back, rotate the front thigh out. Can you begin to make those one action, not two? Lengthen the groins. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips. When you compact those hips, it really helps to turn the torso. And then it makes it much easier to look up. Reach through your arm, pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Jump or step your feet together. One more time. Fingertips up. Bend your legs, jump or step. Left foot and right leg out. Last of the standing poses. Press your back heel. So in order to get the back heel, you have to take that back thigh back. From your hip, press into the back heel. Turn the front thigh out. Lift both outer knees to outer hips. The tailbone still comes in, and really lift the outer knees to the outer hips. Keep pressing that back heel. Reach to the back arm as you come down. So you resist with the back arm. And then for a moment, take your hand on your hip. The top hand goes on your hip. Move that left thigh back, the back thigh back, press the heel. Turn the front thigh out. Lengthen the groins. Now, lift both outer knees to outer hips and compact the hips together. Let the head go back as you do that. As the torso turns, the head goes back. And then extend the arm up. And then what we were doing the other day, last week, remember the front and back body. Can you allow the breath to move along the front and back body at the same time equally? So you're not just feeling the front lungs, but the back lungs are getting some love, some appreciation as well. Pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Are you holding your arms up from your armpits or your shoulders? Hold them up from your armpits. Turn your right foot in, turn your left leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. So again, this back thigh needs to move back. The front thigh turns out. Lengthen the groins. Lift the outer knees to outer hips. Reach with the back arm as you come down. Keep those hips compacted. Keep that action. Take your right hand onto your hip. Go after the legs again. That back thigh back. Front thigh out. There's still that open in the pelvic area. Drawing the outer knees to the outer hips. That is going to help turn the torso. Let the head go back. And then extend the arm up. And again, filling the front and back lungs up. The front and back body. And again, it's fine to look forward, look up. You can even look down. If your neck bothers you, look down. That's fine. But fill the front and back body with breath. And reach with your top arm, pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Jump or step your feet together. What, sweetheart? Wait, we haven't even gotten into Shavasana yet. We have to do some twists and then Shavasana. We still have time, Mateo. Extend your arms forward, arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Press through your feet. Really press through the feet, extend the arms up. Everything in between, the front and back body are extended. Don't solely extend the front body or even just the side body, although do extend those. But can you open up the back body? So rotate the upper outer arms towards your nose. Those triceps rotate in. And open up that back body as much as the front body. Bring your hands out to the sides, come down. Interlace your fingers together, palms out. Push the 11 of your fingers together. Inhale up. Ribs in. Wrists up. Push down through the feet at the same time. Don't forget the legs. Compact the hips together. That helps lift the torso. Palms forward. Turn them to face you. Switch the interlock. Palms out. Ribs in. Push the 11 of your fingers together. Inhale, come up. Ribs in, wrists up. Push through the feet. Open up the front and back bodies. Release your arms out to the sides, come down. Downward facing dog. Use the floor, use the chair, your choice. Hands on the floor or the chair. Press into the ball of the first finger and thumb. Rotate the upper arms out. Turn your toes under, straighten your legs. Inhale. Exhale, thighs back, sit bones up and back, heels down, hips up. There you go. Good job, Mateo. That's it. Yeah, sit bones up, chest towards your thighs. This is your last one. What instruction do you need that I'm not giving you? How do you make this your pose? And then look up, walk your feet forward. Hands on your hips, extend your chest forward. And inhale, come up back to Tadasana. Check in with yourself. Let's do one more for the shoulders before we go to the twists, because I really like this one. Garudasana with the arms. So take your right elbow on top of your left elbow. Cross your forearms and touch your palms together. Can you do that? Yeah, yeah. So this one. There you go. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Now take your upper arms parallel to the floor, forearms perpendicular to the floor. Keep those ribs in, balance evenly on the feet. And then push your elbows towards each other. Rotate your wrists so the knife edge of your hand faces forward and gives a really nice opening in the top of the back. And release. Opposite arm over the top, cross the forearms. Have the palms face each other. Do you want to do the other side now? Yeah, now the other side. Yeah. What? No, don't turn the palms. There you go. Yeah, perfect. Yes, you can. Garudasana. Eagle. So ribs in, upper arms parallel to the floor, forearms perpendicular to the floor. Press the elbows together. So the top elbow moves down, the bottom elbow moves up, and they move towards each other. And release back to Tadasana. All right, let's get the chair for a little twist. So you can just place the chair with the seat can be facing back. You want, what do you want to do? You don't have to twist then. You can just watch. There is a game called Twister. We don't have Twister, but his cousin does. So you're facing to the side. So you're sitting on the side of the chair and the chair is facing behind you, yes? So you're mirroring me. Keep your hips, knees square and the heels square. They can't see me anymore, Mateo. You have to step to the side so they can see me. Extend your arms forward, arms up. So you get length, right? The lift is more important than the twist. So lift up. Then take your arms out to the sides. Get width now, but keep the lift. Don't lose the lift. Inhale. On your exhalation, take hold of the back of the chair. Now look forward. Don't turn your head with the twist today. There are times to do that, and it's not wrong to do that. But see if you can just keep your head looking forward today. Keep your elbows out to the side. Broaden across the front of the chest. Broaden across the back of the chest. And on each inhalation, lift. And on each exhalation, turn. Drop your shoulders. See how my shoulder comes up? So drop those shoulders down. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. On your exhalation, keep the lift. Come to center. Coming out of the pose is the pose. And then you just get to turn on your chair. Turn the other way. Keep the lift. So it's still helpful. Lengthen the inner groins, descend the inner groins. Draw the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips together to keep that stable floor, to lift your torso. Arms forward, arms up. Lengthen. Arms out to the side. Widen, but keep the length. Just look forward. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. Each inhalation, lift. Elbows up and out to the sides. Broaden across the top of the torso, front and back. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. Notice how the head wants to go. Don't turn the head, turn the torso. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. Pace of your breath. Keep the lift. Exhale, come to center. Come on up. We'll lie back now. We'll do a lying back twist as we get into our Shavasana. And you can take something for under your head. You can take a pillow that's on your couch. You can take a blanket if you have the blankets. Right, so that's fine. Or if you want to be flat, you can be flat. Extend your arms out to the side, palms down or palms up, whichever is more comfortable for you today. Then your legs into your chest. Keep your thighs together. Squeeze your thighs together. Extend in the torso. So from between the shoulder blades and from the center of the sternum, extend outward. Are you putting a heart on my chest? That's very nice. And extend through the left fingertips and take your knees to the right. Turn your torso to the left as the knees go to the right. Squeeze those thighs together. Don't let them separate. And then pushing with the bottom thigh, push yourself up. Take your feet back on the floor, square your hips and square your shoulders. Broaden through the front and back sides of the torso again, out through the fingertips. Bend your legs into your chest. Squeeze those thighs together. Extend through the right fingertips. Take your knees towards the left. Or the opposite way that you did before. Keep that both shoulder blades down. Squeeze those thighs together. The abdomen turns to the right as the knees go to the left. Squeeze the knees together. Squeeze the thighs together. Not just the top one down, but the bottom one up. And then pushing with the bottom leg, push to come up. Take your feet on the floor, square your hips and square your shoulders. Bend your legs back into your chest. Give yourself a little hug here. Just check in with yourself for a moment before our Shavasana. Check in with your body. Check in with the mind, the emotions. Check in with the breath. And take this opportunity to say something kind to yourself as you give yourself a hug. Can you say something kind to yourself? Something positive, recognizing something beautiful about you or something beautiful that you may have done today. And bathe in your own true splendor. On your inhalation, take your feet to the floor. Scoop the flesh towards the buttocks. Straighten one leg at a time, dragging the heels. Let the legs fall out. Take the arms out to the sides. Have space in your armpits. Rest here in Shavasana. Before adjusting, just notice. Again, noticing the body. And then begin to surrender the body to gravity. Let the arms and the legs surrender to gravity. Let the torso surrender to gravity. Let the skull surrender. Begin to let the facial features surrender. The forehead. The eyes rest into the cheekbones. Flesh of the face, the cheekbones, the cheeks, the flesh itself. Releasing, relaxing as if it's dissolving away, melting away. Move the jawbone away from the bones of your skull. Release, relax your tongue. Release, relax the sides of your neck. The sides of your neck flow down towards the floor. Let go everything, hold nothing. Let go everything, hold nothing. Let go. Surrender. Shavasana. You don't have to worry about the time. I'm watching the time. It's just you and your breath. Begin to lengthen your inhalation and lengthen the exhalation. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your nose. Bend your legs, take your feet on the floor with your knees together, feet apart. Take your hands, place them onto your abdomen or onto your chest. Take a few breaths here, observing yourself, observing your practice. Extend your right arm past your right ear, roll to the right. push to come up. Come up to sitting on the floor, on the chair, whatever's comfortable for you. You might hear the sounds of our gardener who just joined us. That's what those sounds are. Let's take a moment here. Bring your palms together. Draw your eyes back and down as you turn the corners of your lips up, taking a moment to observe your practice, to honor yourself, the essence of yoga inside of you. And let's close our practice together by chanting one collective Om. Deep inhalation. Your eyelids open. Big smile. Namaste. Bow to the divine within you.
You hear me?
Thank you, everyone. I've unmuted you all. If anybody
Thanks,
has
Jonathan.
any questions about anything or anything
Thanks,
you want to
Jonathan.
share,
Very much, Jonathan.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Thanks, Jonathan. That was awesome.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you. Thank you. Stay
you.
healthy, everybody.
Thanks, Jonathan.
we're so
Take care.
grateful that you're all here. Truly, we're so grateful that this community has come together. Aditi, myself, we're just truly grateful that for everyone that you're here. Oh, it's here.
Hi, Jack.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
If anybody needs anything, we're still here. You call us, okay? We can help you. So if anyone needs anything, let us know. And yeah, we just love you all so much. Dustin's class will be tonight, and we'll
It's
have more
Armpits that
classes.
are happy.
What's that?
It's not just my armpits that are happy.
Yeah. Happy armpits. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks.